Lately, there has been a lot of talk about people coming out of Yellowstone saying something doesn't quite make sense. An unusual noise underground, animals acting strange, whole sections of the park seemingly going quiet. It makes you wonder, is it all true? And add to that lately, there have been more of those stories, and not just from tourists. Supposedly, we are hearing from rangers, locals, maintenance crews. Whatever's happening out there, the stories really make you wonder. Next up, we hear from Thomas, who was sent into the backcountry for a routine assignment. It should have been easy. And if what he found is even partly true, you'll want to tell everyone you know. So, listen up closely to Thomas's account, and then you decide what's really going on. I'm not supposed to be telling you this. Honestly, even saying those words out loud feels wrong, but I think you should hear it, all of it. A while back, I was in Yellowstone, not for vacation. I was there on a short-term work contract. Basically, I was hired to help sort old park records. We're talking dusty file cabinets and tiny back offices, the kind of paperwork nobody's looked at in decades. It was boring. At least, it was supposed to be. One of my assignments was to log historic ranger reports. Some of these little stations are way out in the middle of nowhere, where tourists aren't allowed. You drive down a dirt road for miles, park somewhere unmarked, and then you hike. One day, I had been working in one of these small offices. By lunchtime, I'd gone through every single file they'd left out for me. So I decided to explore. It's hard not to be curious when you're surrounded by locked doors and old buildings. That's when I saw it. A building tucked against a hill, almost swallowed up by pine trees. It was small, no markings, no signs. If you didn't know it was there, you'd walk right past it. The door stuck when I pulled it, wood swelling in the frame maybe. I leaned into it and it gave way with a creak. Inside, it smelled like dust, damp wood, and something faintly metallic, the kind of smell that makes you think of pennies. It was dim, light from the single dirty window didn't reach the corners. There was a cold iron stove, a desk with deep ring stains, and filing cabinets with warped drawers hanging open. And then I saw the box. It was in the far corner under a folded wool blanket, not hidden, but not exactly sitting out like it was meant to be found either. The wood was dark with age, the latch rusted and broken. I lifted it onto the desk and opened the lid. The smell hit me first. Old paper, musty fabric, and that metallic tang again. Inside, folders, some typed, some handwritten, dates going back more than 100 years. I pulled the top one out. The tab was marked 1900-something. The first report was short, typed unevenly, like it was done on an old machine that didn't quite hit the paper right. It said, light, sustained ground movement felt near basin, sky clear, air unusually warm, no earthquakes recorded in surrounding area. Underneath, written later in pencil, patrol missing, last seen near reported location, steam vents in meadow, not on record, no sign found. I turned the page. The next report was from about 10 years later. A trapper wrote that he'd been camping in deep snow and heard a long hiss from under the ground. When he woke up, the snow around his camp had melted in perfect circles. The dirt underneath was steaming. Then there were more. 1930s. 3 hikers said the ground under them rose and fell like a slow breath. One got nauseous. Another started crying for no reason. 1950s. A bus tour stopped at a viewpoint. Half the passengers heard a low, metallic groaning from underground. The others heard nothing. 1960s. A fire lookout heard what sounded like a massive engine idling underground. The next day, he was gone. I sat back in the chair, telling myself these were just strange little incidents. Any place this big is going to have odd events over the years. Yellowstone is alive. It shifts. It breathes heat. It's not crazy for people to feel tremors or hear strange noises now and then, but the files kept going. There was a transcript with a maintenance worker. He said he's seen geysers blow when they shouldn't, and others stop completely for no reason. One year, he saw a herd of bison stop mid-migration, all staring in the same direction, then bolt straight toward a closed area. When he asked about it, his boss just said, "Gas readings." Another interview was with a shop owner just outside the park. She said sometimes her store would shake at night, like a wave passing under it. No earthquakes reported. One binder was nothing but data. GPS readings showing the ground in parts of the park rising and falling by inches. Temperature spikes in hot springs that doubled in days. Geysers skipping their usual schedules. And then this, a note saying that before every large earthquake swarm in the park, there had been a jump in visitor reports about low humming. At the bottom of the box, I found a red folder. Inside were blast zone maps for a possible Yellowstone eruption. The destruction radius was enormous, but it was the last page that made my skin crawl. A list of early warning signs, animals leaving their roots, random ground heat, geysers changing behavior, a deep, sustained hum you can feel in your body. And then, if you hear it for more than 7 minutes, leave immediately. Don't pack. Don't warn anyone. Just go. I froze because I was already hearing it. It was low, steady, not coming from one direction, more like it was everywhere at once, and I could feel it in my teeth. I stuffed as many files into my backpack as I could and got out of there. The hum didn't fade outside. If anything, it was stronger. Somewhere far off, a bison called. Then another answered. Then more, all around me. Halfway to my truck, I saw elk, dozens of them walking in a perfect line. No grazing, no looking around, just moving. At my truck, I noticed the sky. It was still daylight, but the sun had a pale ring around it. I drove. A few miles later, my phone buzzed, even though I had no service. An airdrop request popped up with the exact warning I'd just read in the folder. I didn't accept it. Around the next bend, I hit the brakes. In the middle of a meadow, the ground was sinking. Slowly. Steam curled from the edges. A ring of elk stood around it, perfectly still, all watching. I stayed there, in the driver's seat, staring at that meadow longer than I should have. The elk hadn't moved, not one. And I swear to you, it wasn't like they were watching. It was more like they were waiting. I didn't want to see what they were waiting for. I shifted into reverse. The gravel crunched under the tires, and as soon as the meadow disappeared behind a curve in the road, I floored it. I thought maybe once I got far enough away, the hum would fade. It didn't. It was still there. Low, steady, like someone left a massive engine running miles underground. It wasn't in my ears anymore. It was in me. Every bump in the road seemed to sync with it. My hands felt it through the steering wheel. The seat vibrated faintly against my back. I tried turning the radio on just to drown it out. Static. Then for a second, I thought I caught a station, but it was just the same low tone, bleeding right through the speakers. I shut it off. The tone didn't care. A couple miles later, I came around another bend and saw a Ranger SUV parked sideways across a service road that branched off to the left. Driver's side door was wide open, nobody inside. The thermos sat on the hood like someone set it down for a second and forgot. I slowed as I passed. Part of me wanted to stop, to call out, but the other part kept remembering the files, the missing people. I drove on. A few minutes later, my phone buzzed. No service. I'd already checked. Another airdrop request. Same sender. Unknown. Same preview image, that warning from the red folder. I didn't accept it. Didn't decline it either. I just let it sit there until it disappeared on its own. And when it did, the hum cut out. At first I thought I should be relieved, but the sudden silence was worse. No wind, no birds, not even the faint tick of gravel in the wheel wells. It was like the entire world just hit pause. I realized my knuckles were white on the steering wheel. I loosened my grip, and that's when I heard it. A hiss. Faint, but close. The road ahead dipped, and in the low spot, the asphalt was wet. Steam drifted up from cracks in the pavement. I slowed as I rolled over it, and that's when I noticed the heat, even through the closed windows. Just 20 feet past it, the road surface was normal again, like that spot didn't get the same weather as everywhere else. I checked the rearview mirror. The steam was already thinning. A little further down, I crossed a narrow wooden bridge over a shallow creek. Normally you can hear water rushing, even from inside a car. This time, nothing. I slowed and rolled the window down. Still nothing. The creek water was moving. I could see it through the slats, but there was no sound at all, like the water was pretending. I didn't linger. By now I was counting the miles to the park boundary, but just before the last turn, I came up on another meadow. This one was empty, at first. Then from the tree line on my left, 2 bison walked out, not charging, not grazing, just walking. They crossed the road without even glancing at me. When they got to the middle, they stopped. One of them turned its head toward me. Not fast, not threatening, slow. Its eyes, I don't know how to describe it. It wasn't curiosity. It wasn't fear. It was knowing, like it recognized me. It stood there another 10 seconds. Then they both walked into the meadow on the right and kept going until the trees swallowed them. When I finally reached the boundary, the kiosk was empty. The gate arm was up. I didn't stop, didn't even slow down. About 10 miles outside the park, I saw a gas station and pulled in. I needed a break. I needed people, lights, noise, something normal. Inside, the fluorescent lights were buzzing. It felt good to hear something mechanical. I grabbed a bottle of water and went to pay. The woman at the register looked tired. "Coming from the park?" she asked. "Yeah," I said. She nodded slowly. "Quiet day." I didn't know how to answer. Back in my truck, I finally decided to look at the files I'd grabbed. Every single page was blank, not faded, not torn out, just white paper. The only thing left was the envelope. I opened it. Same warning as before. If you hear it for more than 7 minutes, leave immediately. But now, another line at the bottom. The second sign is silence. That hit me harder than I expected, because I'd already had both. The hum, then the silence, and it wasn't lost on me that the silence didn't come until I was halfway out. Like whatever's under there, let me leave. I drove straight through to my motel, didn't stop for food, didn't stop for anything. Every so often I'd think I felt that low vibration again, but I told myself it was just the road. So, yeah, that's it. Maybe it was just the road.